Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Who's podcast with me, Phil.
And me, Scott.
And on this episode, we're, as usual, going out on our YouTube and audio channels with our knee jerk reaction to this week's episode of Doctor Who. And this week, it's the story and the engine. But before we get onto that, this episode is a bit of a milestone for this podcast. This is episode, and we never usually announce the episode numbers each week because every other podcast does that.
Mm.
But this one is officially episode 500. Yes, we've actually reached 500 episodes of this
Of the
this
audios,
of the audio
of the
podcast. Yeah,
videos.
because this is a main audio podcast. But yeah, episode 500 of this fair to middling
Mm.
podcast has been going on for the last 14 or so years. So yeah, wow, yeah. So thank you very much for everyone for listening and watching as we do a few YouTube stuff as well. So story in the engine, Scott. Your initial reactions to this week. What did you think?
I didn't understand it.
You didn't understand
I
it?
didn't. I
No,
didn't.
I must admit I was struggling with this one a bit as well. And I think I mean, I like the idea. I like the idea of sort of like stories keeps everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't quite understand how this guy. And I'm going to have to watch this again because there's obviously this is just our initial reaction to
Mm.
it. But I didn't understand how the guy got the blood of the gods to form the Nexus and all that.
Yeah.
Why it was a giant spider they were riding on the back of. Yeah, I really do need to watch this one again. Um,
But we did get a cameo in this episode.
of
The fugitive
Yes, Joe
doctor.
Martin. I know that was a
That was
welcome
random.
surprise. Yeah, exactly. And all the other doctors
Yes.
as
Yes.
well. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
not in person,
Not in
but
person, but
through screen.
I'm hoping this isn't it for Joe Martin because
She got big finish.
no. I mean, in this series because
Mm.
just to bring her back for like what, not even a minute's worth of screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see her back in again actually.
Hmm.
But yeah, it does seem to be. Do you know what? I think that the main problem for me was I couldn't hear any of the dialogue. I just couldn't hear it because all the way through this, you have Murray Gold's music drowning out the dialogue,
It was
and a
awful.
lot of it you had to concentrate on because it was the dialogue was quiet, and then again it would raise up a little bit, but then it would go back
I
down,
mean, the
and
music wasn't bad. It just
yeah, but it was just
overpowered it.
there. It was just there, and it was just overpowering the dialogue, and I couldn't hear anything. So I think the next time I watch it, I'm gonna have to watch it with the subtitles on because I just couldn't hear what people were saying. So,
Ah,
yeah. So did you hear it all right, or was that?
some lines.
Yeah, that's what I
I didn't
mean. Some
understand
lines.
when
Yeah.
yeah, the evil barber guy was sitting in the corner with
Yeah, exactly. And again, it was the
and
music was
finishing him.
drowning out his dialogue because he was delivering his lines quietly. Yeah, it was just. But I like the whole idea of them being trapped and having to feed his story
Yeah.
engine with their stories and everything, and they were running out of stories. And of
Mm.
course, the doctor came in. But again, I thought it was all very circumstantial. That one of the blokes in the barber shop happened to know the doctor and enticed. Yeah, so I just thought that was a little bit.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was a good episode if you think about it. It made as much as you couldn't really understand it, it had an extremely good idea there.
Oh, he did. I love the idea. It was a fairly compared to what we've had over the last couple of weeks. I think it was a bit of a quieter episode. But yeah, I'm still the jury's out with me on this one at the moment. Yeah, I need to watch it again, only because I couldn't hear what was going on. So,
The series is still really, really strong though. It's a really good series.
oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not saying this is a bad episode because it's not a bad episode. It was a really good episode. I just need to watch it again to get more out of it. I think is the thing. What I did like though was the animation.
Oh, that was good.
I like
Yeah.
that to illustrate the stories. I thought that was really
With
nice.
a bit more backstory to Belinda, even though she wasn't really in it.
Yeah, well, again, it was just told through a story, and I liked that. And then, of course, you during that story, you had the obligatory appearance of Mrs. Flood.
Mm.
Yeah, so that
Why was she going in the hospital again
to get her pills,
get her pills for
get
what?
her pills. Don't know, but again, it's another God story. I thought this one was going to be more about a Nancy because I knew beforehand about because we saw the thing about the big spider in all the trailers and stuff.
Mm.
And I knew sort of Nancy took the form of a spider.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, it's an African god, basically. Yeah. So I knew about. So I thought this is going to be more about Anansi, and it kind of was
And
in a
Nancy's
roundabout way.
daughter.
But well, no, it wasn't Nancy's daughter.
No, who was it
Well,
then?
no, the guy around the barber shop was saying he was all of these gods. He
No,
took
no,
the faces of all those gods. And he didn't. He was lying.
no, it was Abby.
No, no, he said. Listen, remember the
No,
story when
oh,
with the animation? He was like oh, he was Greek gods or Norse gods. He was a Nancy. He was always different. He said he was always different gods, and
yeah,
he
but
wasn't.
wasn't Abby actually a Nancy's?
No, I don't know.
But
That's
she
the thing.
was.
I need to watch it again because I
Oh,
couldn't
she
hear it.
understood that.
Did you hear? I
Yeah,
couldn't
she
understand that
was.
at all.
She must. Yeah, she was a daughter. She was a daughter of a
She was
god.
daughter of a god, but I don't think it was a Nancy.
I think it
Again, yeah, again.
was.
So this is why I couldn't hear what was being
I
said.
think it was. Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's my sort of biggest complaint about this episode was I just couldn't hear what was being said, and that's such a shame because I think that I think it is another good episode. It really is, but yeah, I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I really do need to watch it again.
As I
But
said earlier on, there's not really much of Belinda, which doesn't really make sense, given the fact that Ruby left after 8 episodes and
hmm.
she had an entire like episode to herself, but Belinda hasn't had that, and she's been practically out of 2 episodes with not much
Well,
screen
yes,
time.
yeah, yes and
So
no. She wasn't out of it completely this
she didn't
episode.
do much. She just kind of stood there, and that makes sense, and just
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you
yeah,
mean. But yeah, but then again, most companions just stand there and do nothing. If you look back at the
yeah,
history of Doctor Who, most of them just stand there and go, "Oh, what's this, Doctor?" So, and this was kind of that kind of episode for her, really, wasn't it?
yeah.
In a funny way.
It's just
But
that we come from a Doctor and companion light story in some way, and then we go back to basically another companion light story. But
yeah,
and then the next one doesn't seem to be a companion light story, but there's not much.
well, no, we're building up to the finale now, aren't we?
We
So,
haven't met any of Belinda's family.
well, no, I think
She
that
keeps talking about
I
it, but there's
know.
nothing
Do you
there.
know what? I think this is going to be the problem that you always get with RTD. Everything will be explained in the last episode rather than sort of explaining it midway through the series, making a bit more sense about who the hell Mrs. Flood is. I'm actually getting a bit bored with who she is now.
Perhaps this episode was a hint to who she is.
Well, it's all about telling stories, and I think
She's the god of
I think
stories.
that is it. Yeah, like the land of fiction kind of thing. I think that's what that's. I still think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
do. Was I now? Maybe you can remember this when the barber shop guy, was telling about he was all these gods, and he said he made and he explained how he'd then he would explain how he made the Nexus and all that, and he said he made the Theatre of Light and the rocket ship. Wasn't that the movie theatre from Lux and the rocket ship
It
from
was.
Revolution? So again, I think that Belinda and Doctor are trapped in a story. I think that
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what's
Such
going on.
hints going
Yeah,
on.
I think that's what it
Doctor
is.
Who fans.
So I didn't get that wrong. You saw the same thing as
Yeah.
me. Yeah, we both could get it wrong, but we both saw the same
Hopefully,
things.
this is an original idea and nobody else has thought of that.
Oh no, no, I think everyone probably would have
Yeah.
got that if that's what it is. But that's how I read it anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, okay. So anything else you really liked about this one?
I don't really know. I
I
didn't.
like the performances. I like I like the thing. It's like even the doctor's got his own safe haven, and that's the
Yeah.
barber shop. So he feels welcome and not judged. And he had said at the beginning, sort of like, since he's got this black body, he can't go everywhere
No.
unnoticed now. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Yeah. So that's a bit of a shocking indictment, really, isn't it? Yes,
Yes.
indeed, indeed. But yeah, so I like the fact that he goes there and he doesn't feel he feels at home. So I
Yeah.
like that idea. Yeah. So he
Yeah.
hasn't got his own planet anymore.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you going to rate this one?
I don't actually have a rating yet because I didn't.
Well, you don't have a rating. What? And just your knee jerk. This is a knee jerk reaction, Scott. You could change it
No,
next
I
time you watch it.
seriously didn't. I didn't quite get it, so I don't know what
Well,
to rate
I'm
it.
giving it a 7 out of 10 because I could probably rate it higher, perhaps, after I've watched it a second time. But right now, it's a 7 out of 10 because I couldn't hear any of the
I have no
dialogue.
ratings yet.
Yeah, I probably I've that's the thing. I missed most of the dialogue because I couldn't hear it. And I,
Bring up a rating. That's
oh,
what.
I see. Like wind. It's brewing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, lovely. Okay then, folks. So, nothing else to say?
No, I guess that's
That's the
the.
first time you haven't really said much, Scott.
I don't
Really?
actually get it.
Yeah, okay.
My brain's all over the place with that one. I'm trying to string everything together in my head, and then it all just kind
Yeah,
of.
what also, I mean, we're giving away the magic here, folks. This will be going out after Doctor Who airs this evening, but we watched about 8 o'clock this morning, so yeah, maybe our brains weren't quite geared up.
Mm.
We're giving away the magic. Oh no.
What do you think of the US
I have
30?
no opinion on that because it's to do with the Eurovision Song Contest, which I detest.
Yes, but if there's a murder mystery.
It's the Eurovision Song Contest, which I detest.
Yeah, what?
Oh,
Have to enjoy it.
well, but before we get into the song contest, Paul and I will be back on our audio channel to do a more in-depth look at the story in the engine. Hopefully, I would have watched it a second time by then and understood exactly what was
Mm,
happening. When I
mm.
can, because I'm going to have the subtitles on to hear what was being said because it was. Yes,
But
the sound mix was I thought was terrible this week. So anyway, until then, it's goodbye from me, Phil.
and goodbye from me, Scott.
Goodbye.